we got the 2022 Ioniq 5 SEL. Let's talk about it.
Perfect.
The Ioniq 5 is definitely a head turner, and I'm so glad we have it. A lot of you may not know that Florida really didn't get Hyundai EVs for the longest time, but now that electric vehicles cannot be denied no more, they're finally sending us the good stuff. I am so excited for this car because it is definitely a head turner. It looks like nothing else. I mean, look at the headlights, and if you go ahead and look at the taillights, you will see this very nice pixelated design. It looks like nothing else. And as mentioned before, this is the SEL, so it is in the middle of the road as far as the hierarchy of the Ioniq 5s. But there's a few universal truths about all the Ioniq 5s. One of them is the charging technology. Every single Ioniq 5 that's on the market right now you could buy, you can charge it up on the 800-volt quick charger, meaning that you can go from 10% battery to 80% battery in about 18 minutes. And beyond that, you still have Hyundai's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles powertrain, and yes, that does include the battery. So yeah, if you're considering an EV to keep for a long time, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 might be a very strong contender. Another good thing, once you actually get to the SEL, you do have the LED projector headlights, which look a little bit nicer and actually throws your light a little bit further down the road, which is super, super cool. Another styling element is that this does have the clamshell hood. So as you see here on the hood, there are no little panel gaps or anything else like that. It actually opens up as one solid piece, super clean design. And if you're wondering, you do have a little bit of storage right here underneath the hood. It's basically almost used for very small things, but you could definitely use it. For those keen-eyed observers, you're probably wondering, why is the grille open here but closed there? Well, that's because they have these little vents. So at slower speeds, when there's not a lot of air circulating over the batteries, it'll open up to allow more air through to cool it off. But now once you're actually at higher speeds, they close up to improve the aerodynamics of the car, and it really does sound so quiet and serene on the inside of this thing. Oh my goodness, seriously, take it for a drive, you're gonna love it. Oh, and speaking of driving this thing, if you happen to live in Orlando like I do, click that link in the description below. This is Schedule with Miguel. That way I can guarantee that once you get here, you'll be getting me. Because if you like to spend a lot of money, just show up to my dealership and work with whoever you want. But if you want to save a couple bucks, let me work for you. I'm gonna go ahead and hook you up. But let's go ahead and get back to the Ioniq 5. And we just had the training on this, and they said wheelbase of a Palisade, body size roughly about a Tucson, and you can definitely tell it is not as long as a Palisade. It doesn't have a third row like a Palisade because it has very short overhangs over the wheel, because you don't need a big fat engine in front of you, because you have all the motors actually underneath the car, which is actually quite nice. And that brings me to another difference between the Ioniq 5 SE and the SEL, because the SEL is the first level that actually brings you the electric power liftgate. And something else that's quite cool, not only do you have all the space on the inside to put a lot of cargo in case you're moving from one city to another, but the Ioniq 5 actually has a powered charge port as well. So go ahead, bust out the key, hold the button that says hold, and voila, the charge port opens like magic. And you can actually see through some more pixels that you do have a full battery. But let's go ahead and say you can't see the side of your car. What do you do then? Well, if you happen to have an SEL or a Limited, all you gotta do is look at the charge bar up front. If it's not plugged in, it just looks like a little black trim piece. But as you see, the more charge you get, the more bars you get, so you don't have to go into the garage and shimmy between the car and the door. Just look at the charge bar up front and you are good to go. So that is a little Easter egg almost nobody even knows about until you take this home, but Miguel, your car guy, is here to help. Now, something that I absolutely love is the fact that you could just have your key on you, walk up to the car, and this actually springs out. You grab it, and then voila, you are on the inside of this magnificent beast right here. Sitting in the driver's seat for the first time, you feel like you slip almost into like an alternate reality. You know you're in a car, obviously, but it's different. Like, first and foremost, when I'm used to sitting in a car, I see the logo of a car or the name of the car company. Not so in the Ioniq 5. Where the horn is, you actually see few little boxes, because this car has a lot of boxes and brushed metal all throughout. The second thing that makes it feel a little different is the dash. It is fully digital, which is kind of cool, because if you happen to press the drive mode button on the steering wheel, you could cycle through different modes. You can go from eco mode down to normal mode, and then over to sport mode. And as you can see, they have different graphics. Looking on over to the right, you see another massive screen, which is all for your navigation, your vehicle setup, your preferences, and everything. It is such a clean look. Now, here's another thing you can see through the steering wheel, and it is the gear selector. No, you do not shift it up and down with your hand. You actually turn the end of the shifter stalk to go from reverse to drive to neutral and all of that other good stuff. And whenever you want to throw it in park, you hit the end of the stalk, and then in park you are. All throughout the videos I've been watching on this car before it arrived, and all throughout the training, they kept on saying the Ioniq 5 has a flat floor. It has a flat floor. It has a flat floor. Who cares about a flat floor is what I was saying until right about 5 minutes ago, until I realized one major advantage of having a flat floor. There's no transmission tunnels in the way. So if I wanted to go from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, there's two things I got to do. I'll lift this up, and then I'll just move my feet and scooch on over. Easy as pie to get it done. Seriously, it is so easy. You don't have to go ahead and do the whole little step my foot. No, it is like if I was wearing a dress or a skirt, I would not care. Again, if you want us to go from one side to another, just move your feet over a little bit, scooch on over, and you are done. So yeah, once again, guys, the Ioniq 5 has a flat floor. So not only do you have a lot of pixels on the outside of the car, you have a lot of pixels on the inside of the car as well. Not only on the steering wheel, but if you actually look at the seats as well, you will see those little square pixels running on and down the seat, which brings me to another difference on the SEL. The SEL is the first level to actually bring the leatherette interior. No, I didn't say leather, I said leatherette. It is made from renewable resources, and that's another motif of the car, being very environmentally sound and conscious. And these seats, I've been sitting here for a while, it feels super good. Another great thing between the SE and the SEL is that not only do you have the center console here like the SE does, but the SEL is the first level to bring the wireless charging pad as well. So if your phone's low on charge, just place it right here in the wireless charging pad and you are good to go. But the center console, I'm not done talking about, because as you can see, you can accommodate a lot of things right behind the wireless charging pad. And even if you have something taking up space, you can still put down the armrest and really feel comfortable in your new Ioniq 5. Remember that center console I was telling you about? Well, you do have an extra storage bin in there for the people in the back, but also two USB ports in case they need to charge up a couple different devices. Now, a few of you are probably looking at this and saying, well, wait, Miguel, there's no air conditioning in the back. Yes, there is, but it is not in the center console. It's actually located on the B pillars. So that way, everybody has their own dedicated air conditioning vents blowing cool air right towards them. And again, yes, it is in a brushed aluminum finish. Another great thing that you get once you upgrade into the SEL package is the ability to have ambient lighting inside the car. So let's say if you're feeling you want a little bit of blue lighting, go ahead and select the blue from the drop down that best suits you. Or if later on you're feeling more of a fuchsia violet type of thing going on, go ahead and select it from the custom color wheel and make it your custom color. Not only will the LEDs be on the door armrest, but they'll also be ringing the speaker in the color that you chose. That way you can truly make the Ioniq 5 a little bit more custom to you. And so guys, that has been a quick little video of the 2022 Ioniq 5 SEL. And no, I didn't cover a bunch of stuff because that would take way too long and I'm too far for that. And if you're wondering, when are you gonna drive the video, Miguel? Don't worry, I have that video coming up very soon. But guys, thank you for coming along. If you liked the video, make sure you go ahead, hit like and subscribe so that way you can see the freshest videos I go ahead and upload. And remember, if you're interested in the car, click on the link that says schedule Miguel and I'll make it happen for you. But until next time, guys, I'm Miguel, your car guy, and I'll see you soon. It's about drive, it's about power. Ain't no gas that this devours. Now, a lot of you that don't know and live in here, another thing that you can see through the steering wheel is actually the schliff lever. Palisade, just slightly to accommodate all the batteries underneath the floor. That's the Hyundai eGMP, electric global something.